Okay, yesterday was the unofficial start to summer, and knowing how to swim is so important, but not everyone historically has access to swimming lessons or had access to swimming lessons. And there are still racial disparities when it comes to swimming.
That's right. According to the CDC, black children drown in swimming pools at a more than 7 times higher rate than their white counterparts. Our next guest is a local woman working to change that narrative. Joining us live this morning is Paulana Lamonier, the founder of Black People Will Swim. It's an organization dedicated to teaching people of all color, of all ages, how to swim. And we're also joined by 2 of her students, Alonda and Rhonda. Best friends.
Yep.
You were part of, what was the name of the program?
Black people will swim.
No, I mean the lesson, the class.
Go
Best Friend class.
Yes. Go best friend.
Go
Yes.
best friend.
Yes.
Okay, so Paulana, we first spoke to you in we're meeting for the first time in IRL, in real life. We spoke to you in 2020, which feels like a lifetime ago. How has the organization evolved since then?
I mean, where do I start? When we first spoke, we weren't even offering classes because the pandemic just started. And then in 2021, we taught 30 people. 2022, we taught about 100 people. And then now 2023, where our program now currently has 220 people enrolled in our program. Yeah.
Talk about a need. There was an obvious need, right?
Really? I say this, I feel like I say this all the time, especially when we get into these months, and then I sound like a broken record. It doesn't matter how old you are, what color you are. Everybody needs to know the basics of how to survive in the water.
That's right. And she's our D1 swimmer. You both swam in college.
Yes, we did. Power to us.
You did the
butterfly. 200? I did the 100 and 200 butterfly. This one was a distance swimmer.
More power to her, y'all.
What was your event?
But I was a 500, so I was distance swimmer, 500,000s, you know.
And she did the mile, which I never had to do. And not only is that a test of physical endurance, but the mental stamina as well.
You got to be alone in the pool with your thoughts.
You really have to stay focused and remember and stay on pace. That's the thing. The pace is really important.
Right.
But the thing about swimming is that swimming is the only sport that can save your life.
That's right.
So it's really important that we really emphasize that. No shade to the other sports. It's all cool. Basketball is cool, you know, NBA finals.
Sure.
But we want to remind people that swimming is the only sport that is a life skill that can save your life and possibly others as well.
Okay, so let's get into these 2 youngsters next to you.
All right.
Robin and her bestie, they did the Go Best Friend project, correct?
Yeah. So who initiated the sign up?
Yeah, well, actually, I did. I had seen Paulina in an interview. I think it was The View. And I was just so thrilled about the passion she had to teach to swim. And I liked the idea of how she was so, Black people will swim.
That's right.
And then I said, well, yes, I will. You know, in addition to swimming, she also emphasized of how to save yourself, you know, in the pool.
Right.
And that was important to me also.
And then you brought Rhonda with you. Rhonda. Who's Rhonda? No idea.
The third best friend.
The third best friend. So Alonda says to you what? And you do what?
She called me up and she says, you know, she told me about the program. She told me to go to the website and she asked if it was something that I would want to do. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Yolanda is very persistent. And she's not one that, if you tell her that you're going to do something, you better be ready to do it.
Better be ready to do it.
That's what best friends are all about.
That's exactly.
Very encouraging, very encouraging.
Right.
You need the encourager and the one to like kind of play it safe a little bit.
What was your swimming experience individually? Did you feel confident in the pool? Did you either of you know how to swim?
Well, I had been trying to learn how to swim for a very long time. I could float. I float on my back.
Sure.
And I do the arm thing so I could move.
Okay.
But in terms of really swimming, I didn't know the basics of, you know, moving the legs and the arms and stuff like
Putting
that.
it all together.
And now, you're ready for Olympic trials?
I'm not going to say. You know,
She's like, we're not ruling it out, but...
Yeah, but I'm hoping to get there.
Yeah. But so
I'm
now
getting
you
more
can go on your front.
I'm getting more comfortable in the water.
Great.
And I'm learning to breathe, you know, with the breath in the water.
Yeah.
So
that's what it's all about. You want to feel comfortable. Like, you don't have to be Michael Phelps. You don't have to be.
Well, we say Cullen Jones, you know.
Cullen Jones,
okay.
He was a backstroker.
Simone Manuel.
That's right.
I want to remind people in our program too. There are a lot of black. Well, not enough black Olympian swimmers, but there are some that we should, you know their names.
Right. And to that point, you know, you don't. But you don't. Not I swam Division I, and I didn't make it to Olympic trials. But just to have the basics. knowledge and skills and to feel comfortable is huge, because if you don't feel comfortable in or around the water, that's where the trouble sets in and the panic can start to kick in. So May is National Water Safety Month. We're in the last few days, and you know, it's kind of like the segue into beach pool season. So Paulana, what are some pool safety tips that you just, for our viewers right now, can share, just basics?
What camera am I looking at? Am I looking at the camera? Am I
If
looking
you have
at
something
you?
profound
You look
to
at
say,
me.
I'm looking at you.
You look at us.
Okay, well, here's what's important. One, make sure that there is always an adult present.
Yeah. Right.
That's number one. Okay, two, if you don't know how to swim, please wear a life jacket or a life vest. All right, it's for kids, for adults, they have life vests for all sizes, for all ages. And number three, just sign up for swim lessons. The only way to really prevent drowning is to learn how to swim.
right.
Now, I'm not going to say it's going to prevent you 100%, but I think it's all about equipping you with what to do in the state of a panic, or if you see someone in distress, how to save themselves as well.
And so, what age should parents teach their children to swim or
Honestly,
enroll them in a class?
At 6 months old, you know, some programs, they offer, you know, classes as young as 6 months. It's really important that we equip them as early as it possible. Here's the thing, drowning is the #1 cause of death for children between the ages of 1 and 4. So we want to prevent that and making sure, start them young, get them in the water. If you're going to take them to water parks or backyard barbecues, you want to make sure that your kid has that life vest on, and you keep an eye on them too.
Right, exactly. So this is your second year doing the program? You started last year?
Right.
Yes.
You're sticking with it?
Yes.
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 All right.
Definitely.
I feel like we need to check in with y'all at the end of the summer.
we might have to pop by the class.
and see how this is
That
going.
might be, you know, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
But one more thing before we go,
Please.
I want to remind people to support our program. You know, please be sure to donate if you can, so we can hire more lifeguards and more swim instructors, so we can save more lives across the summer. Our goal is to have the safest summer ever, so we're going to make sure we need to make that happen with everyone's support.
Well, thank you for doing what you
Love
do.
it.
Thank you.
We
Love it,
really
love it.
appreciate you.
Paulana, Robin, Alonda.
Best
thank
of luck
you.
to you, ladies.
Yes.
Keep it up.
Check
Keep doing
in.
the great
Check
work.
in. You heard her. For more information to learn about classes, you can visit blackpeoplewillswim.com.